Well, hello there, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Just before I start off this video, thank you so much for the love on the last video. I really appreciate it. I was just a little nervous that the video is not going to do too great because I'm doing content after 3 years, and it's a different type of content. So thank you so much for showing love on the channel trailer, and hope you guys liked it. And hopefully you guys like the content moving forward. So without any further ado, let's start with today's topic, which is IELTS exam. So let's get into business. Honestly thought I was gonna fail the exam. So let's get into the sections, what I did, and just some in general tips I really wanted to share. And hopefully you guys are able to get takeaways or just basic key points of how you can prepare for each section. So first up is listening. So in listening, you're listening to your audio file and you are presented a set of questions. You have to listen to the audio and then fill in the answers as the audio progresses in the question. So it's mostly like fill in the blanks, true or false, and multiple choice questions. And this is where it gets a little tricky because one, they do not play the audio back, so it's like a one-shot thing you have to do. Second, the difficulty of the audio increases. So first it starts off slow, it picks up the pace, and then it's extremely fast, so you have to be like, it's going too fast, what should we do? This is what I did for this section in particular. So first was just getting used to all three speeds. So I was just solving each section because I'd keep like a mini goal, which is doing one listening section on this day and then doing one listening section on this day. Second is keywords, which is actually a pretty common tip, but also a key tip because those keywords also appear in the audio, or you'll be listening to them in the audio. So I would say paying attention to keywords is extremely important. That's where you can quickly pick up your answer. And make sure to keep reading the questions while the audio progresses so you can immediately fill the answer in, knowing that's in an ascending format, so the answer is going to come in the order the way the questions are presented. Alright, so that's listening, so let's get on to reading. So in the reading section, you're given a few passages where you have to, and so you just find the answers and then fill in the answers. So the type of questions here are fill in the blanks, multiple choice, there's true or false, and there's also select appropriate title, which is somewhat of a tricky question. The reason why this section was a bit harder for me was time management, because time management isn't my cup of tea and I'm pretty bad at managing my time on exams and tests. So yeah, that's the one reason, I think majorly the reason why I'm bad at it. And the thing is that there's so much content sorry, there's literally so much content in the passages that I would be like, my answer is here, my answer might be here, my answer might be here. I have no idea where I'm looking at. So it's like that one mistake which I was looking for my answers everywhere, and now into what I did for this section. First is again keywords. Focus on keywords for each and every question. Second, ascending order. Now when I realized that these answers come in the ascending format, that became a lot easier. So I knew where I was looking for my answers and I didn't have to look in between or in a descending order. So I just knew my answers were going to be in ascending order, so I would just look in pairwise or make sure I'm at least reading the passage a little bit one more time and then finding a keyword and then writing my question. Third is, this is a really common tip but also really useful, which is if you don't find the answer, that's alright. Find the answers which you're able to find and then move on to the next passage. And then if you have time left, then go back, read those parts again, narrow it down to the part of the passage you're pretty sure about, you can find the answers, and then write them down. And yeah, that's what I would say. So let's get into writing. So writing section is essentially where you're given two topics. One is a illustration, so they'll give you a picture about like okay, I'll give an example here because I have a hard time remembering what can I present. So I'll give you like some examples which I have done and one which I have in my test. So First one, like how a hydroelectric power plant works, or second, how tea powder is made. On this section, I would mostly just say first describe what the image illustrates and then show what parts are in this illustration and then breaking those parts down step by step. So that's what I did. So for the tea powder, I said that okay, this illustration depicts that it's making tea, that this is the process how tea powder is made, and also later I break it down into steps provided in the illustration, and then I'll be breaking them down like, oh, this is the next step, and this is the next step, and then finally this is how tea powder is made. But let's get into section 2 of this writing. So second is so it's essentially like an essay, but you're just given a topic and you have to expand as much as you can. So over here I would just say general knowledge, and just having like aware of the surroundings is pretty important, because I was asked an advertisement if it's good or bad. I spoke on both sides because I feel like it is good and bad, and personally I see it in a good way. I see that products are getting advertised, companies are getting revenue from them, and also they're trying to reach more consumers. And reason why it's bad, because it's practically annoying. So let's get on to speaking. So in the speaking section, you're basically giving an interview to one of the proctors who are conducting your exam. So this is what they ask you: self-introduction, then you have to give a speech for about 1 to 2 minutes, and then you have to answer a opinion-based question. So that's where they see what type of person you are. And then I think they just see that, but they're mostly just seeing your vocabulary and how fluent you are with English, and seeing that you don't pause a lot or using pauses at the correct time. So introduction, I can't really say much about introduction because it's self-introduction. But yeah, I know that there are points where you can get tense during that test, so I would suggest like sitting in the most comfortable position. That actually helps you to just relax completely. So if I'm sitting like this, it would look good, but I would be looking even more tense. But if I'm sitting slightly, my back touching to the chair, you can relax a little bit. So yeah, that's the one thing I would suggest. So for speech, this is one key thing actually which I really noticed, is that they give you a pen and paper, pencil and paper. So when you're giving a speech, you only have a minute or two to just talk. So when they give you a topic, write down key points you want to talk or mention in your speech. And if you feel like you're getting lost on your topic, you can get back to it while you're getting the speech, but make sure you don't look down all the time, because you might get docked marks for that. Because I got docked marks because I couldn't fit the 1 or 2 minute requirement, because I spoke a little less because I was running out of things to say. But yeah, so the topic I had for my speech was my favorite entrepreneur, and I mentioned my dad because he is the role model I look to in my life, and he's also my ideal role model when it comes to sports as well, because he's a cricket player and I'm a basketball player, but it's sports, so my role model would definitely be him. And after that, they ask you questions based on your speech as well. And then the last one is the opinion-based questions. So I was asked, is there a perfect age to retire? And I just straight responded, no, I do not believe that there is a perfect age to retire. As long as a person feel like they're able to work, let them do it. Don't stop them from doing that. Let them do it the way they wanted to. My dad is 57 and he's playing cricket for almost like even at this age, so he's another living definition. That's why he's my role model again. And now let's get into general tips. So general tip number 1 is giving mock tests. So there are 3 ways you can actually do this. So first is, actually a fun fact, so when you finish registering for the IELTS exam, you already have access to practice tests, so you can do mock tests over there. The second way is going to a website called IELTSonlinetest.com, which I'll mention in the description below. So essentially that site also lets you do mock tests, but the one thing is that they give you edition wise, so they'll give you like a 2021, 2022, January edition, Feb edition, so it's year by year and month by month divided. So that helps you like just to gain some flow to the structure of the exam, and I actually liked it because it actually feels like I'm giving the exam. And the thing with that, the mock tests are pretty hard. So the actual exam wasn't that hard. Getting through the mock test was hard. So I would just suggest like doing mock tests on IELTSonlinetest.com is actually maybe a good start for those who really want to actually feel like they're giving the test, so they're used to the flow during the exam and the test actually gets a little easier. My IELTS online mock test was shit, and I was still and when I got my actual result, I was like, okay, I'll take the 7.5 out of 9. I don't know what else to say. So yeah, second is YouTube. So why YouTube? Because YouTube is actually the biggest resource I used during my prep for this exam. So I would just go online and then just type IELTS tips and tricks, and then you will be given each section, whether it's listening, reading, writing, speaking. They literally also provide you more advice. And if you're watching this video and expecting expert opinion, please do not watch this video. I'll link their channels as well. But this is just me sharing what I did, and hopefully I'm able to help people just prepare for the exam, because that's the only thing I can do. I just want to help, but I'm able to just provide what I did for this exam, and hopefully it helps you guys. That's all I really want. The third tip, that is mental and physical aspects. You need to take care of yourself for this one. So in mental aspects, I would just suggest saying that I'll be fine. I'm not gonna panic. I'll be fine during this exam. I just need to give it my best. That's one. And then when I used to make mistakes, I would be like, screw it, I'm just gonna fail the exam. I had that negative mindset to the test, and I was just like, I'm gonna screw this test up. I'm gonna fail. But then later I realized that it was impacting my band. I was getting a 5 out of 9 or 5.5 out of 9. So I was just like, yeah. So I changed my mindset to, okay, these are the mistakes I'm making, so I'm gonna figure that out one by one, making sure I don't make these mistakes again. And then my band started to improve to like at least the average 6 out of 9 or 6.5 out of 9, which was good enough for me. And the physical aspect is, make sure to get up and stretch, because sitting on the chair for the entire day really isn't that fun at all. My joints felt pretty weird while I was giving the exam. When I literally got out of the chair, I heard my knee bone cracking pretty hard. I don't know, I already feel old. I crack my ankles and knee bones all the time. I already feel freaking old. Yeah, that's mostly about it. So hopefully you're able to find this video helpful for your prep. I'll make sure to link every single resources for you to get started on your IELTS prep. And those who are watching the video and preparing for your IELTS test, good luck. I believe in you, and make sure to take breaks. You really need to get some rest if you're studying a little too much. And please make sure that you're allowing yourself to rest, because you really need to get rest if you're doing any type of exam, even if it's IELTS. So yeah, hopefully you like this video and find this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.